Hello, I'm Margaret the Quilty Lass and welcome back to my channel. I love all things quilty and hope to share with you some ideas, inspiration and motivation. So today's video, I'm just going to do a quick rundown of what I've managed to achieve in January, what I've been up to. I had hoped to do a video earlier in the month, but time has just gotten away with me. So we're at the end of the month and I'm just going to do a progress update. So on my last video, I shared with you a couple of things that I really wanted to do straight away at the end of the year, start of this year. The first one was to recreate my work in progress spreadsheet with all my projects, get them all catalogued and updated because I'd managed to delete my previous spreadsheet. And I have got that. I will show you that in a little minute. And the other one that I wanted to finish was the Scrappy Dash quilt, which I've got behind me. It's finished. I just want to put a border around each edge to stabilize the bias edges, but it's behind me just now. So this quilt top was made from my Scrappy Strip stash. It's based on a Donna Jordan video where you take an 8-inch square of paper, mark a central strip which you fill in with your coloured fabrics, and then in the opposite direction in the corners you fill in with your plain fabrics. So for example, this green square here, the central strip is strips going one way, and then the edges is the plain strips, light strips going the other way. And then what I've done with each of the blocks is I've just alternated them. So some are going left to right, some are going right to left. I've done browns and blues and blacks, purples, there's an orange one, a red one. My cat Lizzie has just decided to come and join us. So yeah, so I just then put them together. So each square is a colour of its own, and then I've just put them together to create this top. Like I say, I'll put probably a plain border all the way around just to stabilise those bias edges before I get that one quilted. And that top is going to be going towards Quilts for Care Leavers as a quilted hug for them. So this is my work in progress spreadsheet that I've been creating for 2026 for current. This is all the projects that I have in any shape of progress, whether it is currently being created or whether it's a top that's already made and just needs finishing off. So this sheet here is my incomplete tops. I've got each of the projects listed down the side. There are 11 of them here. I've got the location recorded so that if I want to go and work on it, I know where to look to pick that out. I've got the destination, so for some of these they're going to go to Project Linus when they're finished. This one's going to go to Quilts for Care Leavers when it's finished. This one I'm going to keep. And then I've got headings here: fabric cut, blocks pieced, sashing chosen, sashing cut, top assembled. Anything that's grey is either already happened before the start of this year or it isn't needed. And the cells with the colours and the dates are things that I've already done this year. And some of the cells have got little notes on them just to remind me what my thoughts were. So this is the page of incomplete tops. Over here I've got my page of completed tops. It's got different headings at the top. So again, it's got the project, where it is kept at the moment, where I'm hoping to send it to, when it's finished, and then the headings at the top are whether there's spare pieces left over that I can incorporate in a pieced backing or to make any borders, whether the top needs resizing. So for some charities like Quilts for Care Leavers, they have very specific size requirements. So for some of my tops, they need resizing slightly to meet those, to meet the required shape. Whether the backing is chosen, whether the backing is pieced, if there's wadding cut, binding cut, when it's sandwiched, quilted, trimmed, bound, and the ends finished. And then for Quilts for Care Leavers, they need a label attached. They need to be allocated a number, and then for Quilts for Care Leavers and Linus, whether they have been donated or whether I've still got them. So as you will see down here, there are quite a lot of projects listed here. So I think it's about 85 projects on this page. So they've all been found, and I've included the measurements, the current measurements, in the description with project name. So yeah, there's 85 on this page. And then I've got a couple of other sheets in here for block of the month projects that are ongoing at the moment, and some other projects which include cross-stitch projects that I've been working on as well. So that's all listed there. I've also got this 2026 worked on page where I'm keeping almost like a diary for each day of what project I've worked on and what I've done, which is quite interesting actually, looking back to see how much I have actually achieved. So this shelving unit is where most of my works in progress are stored. The grey storage tub at the bottom, the white storage tub above it, and then the two plastic, large plastic tubs on the shelf above. These all have completed tops in them. Some of them have backing and extra fabric as well, but that's all completed tops. The suitcase on the top of the shelving has a top that is all layered up with wadding and just ready to quilt. And the trays beside that on the top shelf are projects which are currently in progress, where the pieces have been cut and the tops are being assembled but haven't quite been completed yet. So this cube here contains any projects and fabric that I am going to use for Project Linus. There are quite a few completed tops in here that just need layering and backing and quilting. So yeah, there's a whole load of projects in there for Project Linus. And this container here, which contains completed tops and backing and projects for Quilts for Care Leavers. So in addition to my work in progress list and finishing my Scrappy Dash quilt top behind us, one of my other main objectives for January was to complete Karen Brown's declutter challenge. So Karen Brown from Just Get It Done Quilts runs a declutter challenge every January for the first 3 weeks of the month. Each day is a different focus area, and it's just a great way to get back on top of your sewing area and your fabric, your threads, your everything associated with your hobby. Have a good clear out and reorganisation. So I've managed to complete most of the days for that, some days more than others. The main areas that I focused on this year were recording my works in progress, organising them and sorting out what to do next for each project, as well as having a clear out of my magazines, most of which I'd inherited from clearing out my mum's flat. So I've managed to let go of quite a few of them, having to go through old threads and supplies that I no longer need, like bobbins for universal machines, universal bobbins which just don't work on the machines that I have. I've also unsubscribed from a few things. I've sorted out my patterns into order. I'm keeping them all just now until I complete the actual tops, and just having a jolly good go through, clearing out rubbish and rehoming things that are in the... So one of my finishes for January is this panel behind me here. It is part of the Botanic Block of the Month challenge from early 2001, which was run by a lady whose name escapes me at the moment, Robin someone in America. It is an applique project, and I actually entered this in our local quilt show at Farnham Maltings just at the start of January. So it's temporarily mounted on foam board just so that it could be exhibited, and I'll probably take the foam board out. I've got the other 11 months projects to do as well, but I completed this one for my Quilt Groups challenge, which was a container of flowers. So this was my entry into Farnham Maltings at the start of January, and I literally finished it the night before it had to be displayed. Another quick win for January was this scrappy Round the World quilt top, which is going towards Project Linus. So all the rows had been made into rows, half the rows had been stitched together into a top, and it just needed the other half of the rows to be added to complete the top. So that was another quick win for January to finish that. So something else I did in January was a weekend sew along on Zoom, hosted by the Sew Happy Quilters Association, and we were all sewing for the charity Quilts for Care Leavers. So most of the weekend we got to sew our own thing, but there were also a couple of block sew along together times during the weekend, and one of the blocks which I joined in on was the chopsticks block here, which was nice and quick and easy to put together. It was great to work on together as a group. So these are my versions. So finances, let's talk money. Often at the start of the year we set ourselves goals that we're not going to buy fabric, we're not going to start new projects, we're going to use what we've got. So I have a huge fabric stash of scrap fabric. I have a good fabric stash of backing. I did treat myself to a roll of wadding just between Christmas and New Year because it was on sale. But other than that, I am planning to not spend any money. So how did that go in January? So I went to the Farnham Maltings quilt fair in early January, and I did see a project there which I quite like the look of. It's a quilted bag project, and I did buy that. It wasn't hugely expensive, and it is something new and fun that I will do that's different from quilts. It's something for myself, and yeah, like I say, it wasn't too expensive, so that's my way of justifying it. I have joined a local quilt group, so I've paid the annual membership for that. Again, something fun, sociable, and something that I'm going to look forward to doing every month. My biggest expense for the month, however, was a membership to the Quilt Hive, which is run by the Crafty Nomad. And I've seen the Quilt Hive advertised quite a lot, quite often. I've always been keen to look at joining up, and I have decided that I will join up. She has a huge library of projects that are available. When you sign up, you get access to the whole history of projects that she has, and I'm looking forward to doing that as a bit of a stretching my skills and something a bit different. So project wise, as we're at the end of January, let's look forward to February and have a think about what I want to do then. So I have a sewing day in the middle of the month where I'm probably going to take a quilt that I have the top done, and I've got the wadding already cut for it. It just needs backing, but I know what I'm going to back with it. So I'll probably take that along, layer it up, and see if I can get that project finished on the sewing day. I am going to try and tackle some of my scrap stash as well in February, try and cut up, sorry, my cat is patting my legs. I'm going to try and cut up some of my scrap stash into usable pieces. And apart from that, I think that's my only aims for February. I'm doing a college course at the moment, and I have a deadline at the end of the month. So let's set these two objectives, and we'll take it from there. So I'm going to sign out for now. That's my roundup of January. I'm going to sign up for now, and I'll see you again next month.